take a peek at some of the ears here. Kind of curious myself. Uh-oh. Mr. Tweety, you could be in trouble. Let's pull a couple of these out here. Looks really good corn here. I've got a little pollination, but like I said, it was pollinating through that 95-degree daytime, 83, 84 nighttime. Pretty happy with it. You know, it looks like it's probably 17, 18 around, or 18 around. It's probably a 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's actually a 20 by 38. Pretty good corn. You know, our biggest question is, you know, what our kernel depth's going to be. I'm looking at the milk line, and it's not started to move yet, so it's got a lot of size to put on there yet. Let me count them again. I think it's 18. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You know, to say it's going to be as good as last year, that'd be going out on a pretty big limb, but, you know, I'm seeing some dent, which last year we didn't have hardly any dent in any hybrid. So that tells me we're going to be a little short on weight. As a whole, corn looks good. Said not much, hardly any disease, which is really fantastic. We had a windstorm that come through. Oh, that was probably right at tassel. And we had quite a bit of green snap. This is the only field for our no-till contest that did not have any green snap. You know, so we kind of had to switch our field. So this was not actually our first option as far as contest, but I believe it'll be enough here to beat on Tweety Bird a little bit again. You know, maybe if we beat him this year, he'll get off the Twitter and be humble. I mean, you know, yield potential, you know, this should make 300 bushel pretty easy. And all this is on 200 pound of nitrogen that we put down. So, like I said, the years of us fertilizing, you know, it's not that we have to put a lot of nitrogen down anymore. We got our soil microbial activity good enough that it's creating a lot of this for us. You know, so we're kind of weaning back every year, and our tissue samples are showing that we can do that. You know, about every year we can raise our yields and our tissue samples go up with less nitrogen, and the only way you can do that is your soil profile is getting better and better. 200 pound of nitrogen, grow 300 bushel corn, I'll take that all day. Randy probably wouldn't, you know, Randy. 300, he'd probably diss that under. Knowing him. Because it's so easy to grow corn here in the Midwest from him, what he says. Aside, I think he would take that for the inputs we got. I think he'd be happy with 300 bushel corn on 200 pound in. Like I said, the next field over, by failure of us getting back over with our wide drops, that's sitting on 100 pound in. And, you know, I wouldn't be afraid for sure that's probably 270 corn over there. You know, we'll know when the combine grows, but it looks really good for only 100 pound in. And like I said, the field's small. We just don't know why I didn't get in it. Kind of a pain in the butt to fold out for an acre field that's not square, you know, so guy needs to do little strips like that anyway. And the good thing is it was saturated for that long, and it's still going to grow really good corn. So that's the whole key. Less inputs, more yield. Now, the stuff that we're going to go to, you know, has had 3 shots of fungicides on, and you'll see there's a lot more disease than what we got here. But, you know, we still have the bottom leaves still green. You know, I got a little disease down here yet. Look up here on the ear leaf. You know, just a few specks here and there. Really happy with the protection we've got from TrivaPro this year. That's Syngenta product. There you go. I mean, this corn's gonna be okay. It's gonna be good corn down here yet. This is what you want when you walk in a cornfield. You want to see no disease, you know, ear height, pretty close. There's a couple up there, but we're actually still kind of on the end rows, but, you know, a little compaction here. But looking out in there, I think we're gonna be okay. I don't like how tall it is again. You know, actually, the further in you go, actually, I think it gets taller. This ain't even pushed hard here. See how damn tall it is. Is Matt and them's corn this tall? I mean, what about Dan's? Even David's? In our area, you know, we plant a hybrid plot every year. We got Pioneer, Agrigold, Kalb. This year we got Mycogen in it. Stewart's, I think that's about it. But you know, the Pioneers are normally about a foot to a foot and a half taller than what our Kalb hybrids are. So I was just kind of curious, you know, of like how tall Randy's, which I seen in that one episode. It didn't look like his corn was overly tall. We'll go down into some of our work ground or conventional dirt there, and it'll be a foot and a half taller than this corn. And that's not a good thing. And this ain't a fluke. You know, everybody says, well, it's time of planting. Well, it don't matter. You know, this was planted 2 weeks earlier than what it was last year, and it's tall. And it don't matter if we plant April 1st. You know, we just grow too darn tall of corn. You know, you look down here at the brace roots. I don't see any of that, so that plant, it was pretty happy all year being up here on the high spot of this field. I'm even getting more confident now. Well, here, as you can see, prime example here, we have brace roots out here in most of them. So that kind of proves our point as far as, you know, we know what this plant is, this field here is lacking because we, like I said, pulled the plug. We only put about half the fertility out here that we normally would because of the lodging and the issues that we have here, and it shows indicative. You know, about every one of them you see is pushing brace roots. They're out there looking for nutrients. Yeah, we normally don't like to see this, but you know, it comes down to economics. We knew that our potential, as you can see here, is very limited to how much we can make by no matter what we do. So yeah, you normally don't want to see these brace roots. I don't. I mean, you can actually tell that right away before you go in and start spending a bunch of money. I mean, it could be just water that you're looking for. You know, that you don't know, but if you see brace roots coming out, you know, you got some kind of an issue going on. And most of these are fairly late. You know, this one here is kinked over in a 90 or 180. That's why he's only got 2 of them there. He ain't got shit for ear either. But same thing with this one. It screwed his ear up, tore off. So he ain't got brace root, but this one here has an ear on it. And guess what? He's down there searching. Roots are kind of a telltale sign, you know, of what's going on in your field. I mean, they don't lie too much. I'm not saying you can't grow good corn without them, but the odds are kind of stacked against you, you know. And like I said, it may not be a nutrient, it may be just water. Too much or not enough. So don't feel like when you see these brace roots that you're sitting there thinking, oh shit, my fertility's bad. You know, we've seen it, you know, most of the time we see it on hills, and that's where the dry spots, you know, searching for moisture. As you say, you can look down here at these, look down here at the roots there. We don't see hardly any brace roots down through here. We're probably a strong R4 and R5. So that kind of tells us that, you know, our fertility program with the Y drops. The funny thing with the Y drops, where we concentrate the nitrogen right there, you know, we can cut back 40 to 50 units of N through the season. Where we broadcast it or we run liquid over the top, you will see darn near double, if not triple, the brace roots hanging out. So even though we're putting 50 more pounds of N out there broadcast, it's all about banding that fertility as close as you can to that root system. I mean, between the banding of our 2x2x2 on the planter, then banding with the trips with the Y drops. So like this here was a little nitrogen burn. We Y dropped here, that's what that is. But you know, I just can't hardly see a more efficient way to farm than with the Y drops. I mean, we just keep cutting inputs back, and keep growing better corn. Anyway, that's about it there. This right here pretty well gives us enough to know that we're gonna have potential. You know, I don't want to say this to Swanson, but seeing this, we actually do have potential to be better than what we were last year. Pretty happy, pretty excited. I'm more impressed with the plant health, because like I said, the other corn that we're going to go to, even with that many shots of fungicide, you'll see that its gray leaf has really took a toll on some of that corn. So one thing I want you to see, you know, some of these leaves are still green. I'm not going to tell everybody what we've done, But on this other conventional ground that we'll go to later, you'll see these bottom leaves from the ear down basically destroyed. It ain't because of the fertility is lacking, it's because of something that we've been trying out. It had significant tissue sample results, so I'm really excited for next year. You know, this was the first time that we've actually been able to raise our levels at R1, R2, and R3. We've actually been able to raise our tissue samples by doing this new thing that we're doing. So we'll just see if it makes yield, if it converts to yield. You know, it should with what the tissue samples say, but you know, the combine is the ultimate telltale. A big tall stalk does no good for you, as far as I'm concerned, because if we had every stalk this big right next to each other, there would be the same amount of sunlight in there, and you're not feeding that great big tall stalk. You know, that takes nutrients. You know, we always park the semi right here where we fill up wide drop or seed corn or planter, so right up here is where our big compaction issue is, where we pull in and out. So I guess I could drive over it every time and compact the shit out of it to get short corn, but that wouldn't make much sense. That is our limiting factor, part of our limiting factor. We just grow too tall a corn for us. It keeps more heat in. Taller the corn, you know, it takes longer for it to come up through the canopy. You know, each company has their hybrids that are shorter. Kalb has them, Pioneer has them, AgriGold has them. You know, AgriGold, one of their biggest hybrids ever, 64.99. You know, and part of why it's so good in our area, it's short. We like short corn. We don't ever get it, but you know, that's part of the staple in you know, like in our area, southern Indiana, why a lot of guys plant that is because it's short. You know, Kalb had 6208. Back when we planted 100% Pioneer, the 31N27 and G98, they have always been tall. You know, a lot of guys always say that's where the breeders chase yield just happens to be taller. Normally a taller plant, higher yield, but my request to all you seed corn companies, get us shorter corn. I mean, we need it. I mean, there's no reason to feed a 14-foot tall stalk. We see here, short plant even under compaction, yeah, it's got a lot of sunlight here, but you know, a short stalk pull enough sunlight in to grow that. Yeah, and that's the way corn should be. Ears that like that. Really? I mean, that's what I love. That would be perfect for me. So you eliminate, you know, green snap. You know, naturally the taller the plant is, the more wind it catches, the more it can break off. And like I said, you're not just feeding the ear, it takes nutrition to feed the stalk. Efficiency, you know, that would be way more efficient than that stuff out there, the big tall stuff. The king, Zeus, our herd, mentioned you should be able to grow 10 bushel per 1,000 plants, which is kind of our rule of thumb too. You know, with these hybrids on our farm, we've not tried it. We've done it before where we've went 12 bushel on our farm, where we backed off the population. But we're kind of interested to see if we could back it off to like 23, 24,000 to see if we can throw 2 ears on it. One, I mean, there's just so many benefits it could be. You know, release heat at night, you ain't got near the canopy. The plants shouldn't get as tall, they shouldn't. You know, just being more efficient on the nutrient uptake. You know, it's, you know, you're not feeding 2 14-foot tall stalks, you're feeding 1. So like I said, next year we got a lot of ideas that we've learned that we're gonna try, and a lot of new stuff that we just seen other guys trying. You know, the ultimate, you know, the contest is fine and dandy, but bottom line is you still gotta make money to be efficient. That's all about the ROI. So this corn green snapped. You can see some here. It's already starting here. Just look at the difference in the ear size. The one that's green snapped. You know, this one here was kinked. You know, and here's one that didn't get bothered. So, you know, pretty significant size difference when you green snap. So like I said, the nice thing is, if there is a nice thing, we, you know, we kind of pulled the plug on it, you know, as soon as this happened. So we lost our last shot of nitrogen we didn't put down because, you know, no matter what you do, you know, this makes nothing. You know, there might be 40 kernels on that ear. You know, and this one here is kinked, damaged, small ear. This one here is kinked. Right here, small ear. So as we go out further, you see more kinked. You know, here's two of them kinked again. You know, two of them here again, small ears. You know, that's what's aggravating. We did come in and spray a fungicide just to help the plant health to stay healthy so it all don't go down, to protect them. I think they said it was about a 75 mile an hour wind that come through. Kind of right up this valley. So you can kind of see this. So we quit putting nutrients, spending money on it, and you can see, you know, this field here, like I said, we can't help it. Green snap. You know, I think it's still going to make, you know, probably make 230, 40 bushel corn, you know, which is good corn, but, you know, just a lot of aggravating potential, you know. I mean, you look over there, you see corn stalks leaned over. Just no good. But I'm kind of thinking we have another hybrid over further that had some green snap, but not to this extent. And by no means is this a devastating. Like I said, I think we'll still make 230, 240 corn here. But, you know, a far cry of what it should have made. I mean, this should have been 300 plus corn here. But, you know, just some things you can't deal with, fix.
Was it a big windstorm?
Yeah, it was a pretty big, not a broad windstorm, but it was just kind of in a strip here, so kind of a shit show. I just wanted everybody to know that Southern Indiana, we don't grow great corn everywhere. Most of our fields, like you said, you don't see much sunlight. You know, I don't like to see any, period. You know, we're not harvesting all the sunlight that it can, but, and most of the places that you see is because you look over there, there's a green snap. So most of our fields, like you said, you don't see much sunlight. You know, I don't like to see any, period. You know, we're not harvesting all the sunlight that it can, but, you know, this field here, like I said, we can't help it. Green snap. You know, I think it's still going to make, you know, probably make 230, 40 bushel corn, you know, which is good corn, but, you know, just a lot of aggravating potential, you know. I mean, you look over there, you see corn stalks leaned over. Just no good.